In these videos, I use shortcut keys to make modeling more efficient. Shortcut keys are set up under Shortcuts, under System Preferences. To assign a key, start typing in the menu designation in the filter box, for instance, Hide. Select Edit Hide, type in the letter you want. To draw the base of this faucet, I'm going to turn on just the existing faucet geometry. Let's isolate just the base. Double click, select with a window, and get just the geometry we need. That looks good. Control C or Command C to copy that geometry. Click outside the component and Shift P to paste in place. G to make a group of that. M to move that away. Let's do 10. In looking at this, it's going to be mirrored. If I decide that, I can draw a line from the midpoint and use that as my alignment point. I have one already based upon my faucet line. I'll use that. Draw from there. I just drew from in the background there. That line was the midline of our faucet handles, or our half faucet. Draw it outwards. There's the midline that we can work from. Lock it with Shift. Come back, down. Forms a plane at the midline. Select that plane, and with the Move Copy tool, I'm going to copy to the other end in the green. The back looks like it's the best point to pick. And then I'm going to choose to do 5 segments within that, 5 divisions. 5 divided by, that would create profiles for me to connect to form the base. I'll select with the space bar, or 6 total I guess. Select those items and that new group, right click and intersect with selection, just with what's selected. All the intersecting edges will be placed upon these loose face planes and not within the group. That effectively isolates all the sliced profiles. Now select the base group and delete it. We don't need it any longer. And we're left with, turn on transparency, we're left with all the profiles at each of those stages. Make a group of all this stuff. Window select and select our midline. Just to be safe, make a group of it. We don't need the aerator. Make a group of it and put this on new so that we can mess with our new faucet. We're going to ignore the stuff above the curves where the filleted curves are, because all we want is from where the fillets were to the body. Those will be the paths that we want. I'm going to find this middle profile and draw a profile for me to work from. Draw a line from there to there. There. We could do an arc. A. We'll make a 4-point arc, 4S, 4-segment arc. Come down. There's 4 segments. Even found the tangency. Do a line, L. Maybe we'll put a couple in here. There's a slight curve in the back, but we're going to simplify it way down. Touch the base. It's a little hard to fit inside there, but we'll do it. Come up. Find where the curve starts. Now that front has a bit of a bulge as well. Oh, and we didn't get to the end point. So M, I'm going to move this end point out to the end point of the CAD. Then L to start drawing again. Go in the blue to there. And maybe we'll put an arc in A from there to there. That looks good. And a line to finish up. Zoom extends. There's our profile. And we're going to use that to work between each of these stages now. To make a group of that, that's going to be the base group, and double click to edit it. Now we can turn off the rest of the model or see the rest of the model. This is the push-pull scale method of modeling. P to push-pull, click on the profile we want, and touch the plane we want to go to. That's now 1/6 of our modeling effort. Now we'll adjust our geometry to match the other profile. Select the top edge in this curve, and we'll move it down till it matches that curve. If we move it in the blue, start going down to match it. This little line segment here got bent and it could move down, but we also want to move the profile back out a little. I'm going to select this edge as my edge to lock to, hold shift, come out here and click and move it out till it matches the profile underneath. Now clear the selection, click on just that end point, and we'll move that down a bit, maybe to there. So we've just adjusted that profile to match that next downstream profile. Do the same on this side. That one edge I'm going to move up in the blue so that it stays in line, and now move this vertex, or actually let's select the arc, move the whole thing down in the blue till it meets the profile, and that looks like it took care of it nicely. So our second profile is in the right spot. P to push-pull that out to this edge. Here we got to make a decision, because remember in the original faucet there was a curve on this side, on this end as well. Perhaps we should have left our cut back here. Select this surface, move it back, copy it back 10 inches. Draw a line there so I can break it. And erase all this so it's one surface. Now we'll move that back. Okay? And then we'll intersect that with the model. Right click, intersect faces with the model. We're just going to take it off the base. And there is our new profile. We'll move that back 10 inches. And let's get rid of this end piece here. It's not doing us any good. Click back outside and adjust this back, push-pull to this plane, and now we'll adjust our profile to match that profile. See it underneath there? Select the edges we want to move, and I'm just going to move the arc. I think there's another edge, yeah. Move it down in the blue. We've hit it. Now we want to move it back out again, so I'll inference lock on this edge outside of our context. Touch there, click it. That has resolved it to our profile. Come back to the other end. Select the curve and the short segment and move them in the blue downward till it matches. That was an easy move. It looks good. That seems to have a low point right there. I'll draw a line, create a vertex right there, and move that M. Move that vertex, invoke autofold, turn on the rest of the model, click it down there. We can erase that now. We just added a vertex into our system. do a line to heal those faces back in. So there's our complex surface developing. The last step is to to offset this profile. We'll offset it downwards. We're going to offset it about that much. I'm just doing it visually. And then select that bottom edge and move it downwards till it hits the bottom edge. Now we can select that and move it with autofold invoked. Invoke autofold. I'm going to go in the green, hold down shift, and touch the outside edge. And there's our base. All we need to do is fix these because it didn't autofold the way we expected it to. So just like we did on the handle, we'll erase that and draw in some segments. Here we go. That's our half. If we triple click on it and do soften smooth edges, we can make it appear like a nice surface. And we'll do the same out to the front. Keeping in mind, we have to find our spring points, which are a little harder. It's this point here. Select it, P to push pull, turn on the rest of the model, go to here, select our profiles, move it upward in the blue till it matches. CAD, it looks good. And spin around from the back side so we can see it. Come down in this one, select it, so it goes up quite a way. M, we'll move this up in the blue till we're over top of the profile. Looks like we could use another vertex here. So draw a line there. Select that and move it. Invoke autofold. Oh, we were real close to our original. Let's move our original. Endpoint. Invoke autofold. There was the midpoint I saw before. So we're just moving our old midpoint up to this midpoint. Let's resolve this back area. I'm just going to add a vertex. Well, there is a vertex there, so that midpoint's fine, or that endpoint's fine. We'll introduce another one here. Move that. Invoke autofold. Move that down. And we could even move it over if we wanted to this low point. That's looking good. P to push pull to our next plane. Here we want to find out where the back of the faucet is. Oh yeah, it goes up a bit higher. There's our line. Select the profile. Select that edge. Let's use move. Move it upwards in the blue until we are near our profile. I'm going to select this and move it backwards in the red. And select this one. Whoops. Just the endpoint. Move it back in the red. There's that profile. Spin back around and let's find the front of the profile. Remember, we were going to go to this lower point which was, I'm going to select the profile. Starts right there. I'm just going to draw on a cheater line for us, and I'll do the same on this profile. Cheater line from there up to there, and I could even erase these edges just to make it even more obvious and clean. Just do the same here. Close that component group. Open up our path again, or our profile again. We're still working on this plane. Show the rest of the model. Come in and we want to match it up to right there. So we'll select those two pieces. I think this is one segment. Select the arc and that little piece. Move them down in the blue. And the higher we go with this, the more it affects the slope outside there. And we want that surface. Let's put this down here, midway somewhere. It looks to me like that needs to lower just a little bit. And move it outwards. Whoop. Move it outwards again. I'm just moving the end point of that arc upward, moving that end point downward to match our profile. Turn off the rest of the model. You can see how it's sculpting that surface beyond. Okay, one last one. Push pull. Turn on the rest of the model. Connect to this face. Come back around. That one looked like it was the same. Why don't we leave that where it is? And actually, that one looks like it's pretty much the same. Let's see how this works. Select everything again. Soften smooth edges. This is a half, remember? And I'm going to make it a component. It's a group now. Right click, make it a component. We can even name it half base if we want. Half base. Reason is, if we need to tweak it, we'd like to leave it where it is. It's easier to work there. Click and select it, move it, or copy it back in the red, a distance of 10. Now we can play with that one back there, but it'll be reflected out front here. We want this piece to go inside of our other half group. So it's selected, cut it away, Control X, Command X, spacebar, and double click into our half. And there's our faucet base and the faucet handle. Shift P to paste it in place. And there's our faucet base. And if we look at our faucet, there's our completed faucet. And it's looking pretty good. Let's compare it to the CAD geometry, on and off, quickly. So really all that's different is this filleted area. The rest of it, the rounding of this front corner, it all looks pretty good. So I'd say we've been successful in modeling this based on the CAD. Double click here, whoop, double click on the half, double click on that, hide the rest of the model, and hide similar components. You edit, hide similar components so that we can deal with just this face. Select it and delete it. Actually, we want to soften all the edges, so I'll double click and remove that. I'm going to soften, smooth those edges, and then I'm going to delete, turn on hidden geometry, select that face and delete it. When we click back out, turn off hidden geometry, there's our faucet. This base worked out well enough. I don't think we need to tweak with it, so we can erase all this stuff out in front. Last thing to do would be to intersect this faucet with the plane of the base. Let's open up the base, select that face, copy it, click outside, paste in place. Let's do the same on the other side. Select it, copy it, click back out, paste in place. Now it's all one surface. Select that surface and make a group of it. Add that group into the faucet neck now, so we'll cut that away to the clipboard, double click, and paste it in place. Shift, paste in place. This is where we want to intersect with this geometry. Then it would be directly at the base. We could even move this up a little. I'm going to move it up, I don't know, let's do 1/8 of an inch. We can even, yeah, 1/8 of an inch is fine. Then we'll right click on it and intersect faces with context. Context is just this component. Now we can spacebar, do a crossing window through all that stuff. G to make a group of it and delete it. That took it out. We could even clean up this base so we wouldn't see it. Do a crossing window, a little bit more careful. Crossing window, G to make a group and delete it. That looks good. We've now cleaned up. We could clean up the inside, but I'm not going to worry about that. Select the cutting plane and delete it. Click back outside, and there's our remodeled faucet. Let's compare it against the existing faucet, the CAD faucet. Turn it on and off a couple times. Get a sense of whether we're happy with it. I am. I think it looks real close, real good. Select all these pieces. There's 4 pieces, and we'll make a component of that. We'll call it new faucet. We can change that later. We want to set the component axis to be the midpoint of the back of it. So there's an endpoint there now. Click. Want the green to be along front of the faucet. And create it. So when we export this, if we double click on it, the green, it's the red and green. So in plan view, it's going to be looking this way when you place it in a model. So the original, turn on the original faucet, select it. It was almost 46,000 faces and 70,000 edges. The new one that we've remodeled that looks just like it is 1,400 faces and 2,700 edges. Pretty good size reduction, and we get the same product, and much more usable to someone using our SketchUp files out of the 3D warehouse. Have fun remodeling your stuff and getting it into the 3D warehouse.